to make a new drawings and make a 3D printed parts, a new lamp. So this is one of the first examples that I want to share with you to see and to share what is possible to make with 3D printing. So replace something that you have at home, something that you are loving, and let's see more and more examples. The title of my presentation is coming from a very wide Wars Yoda, and I just changed the do or do not into make or make not, because we are all makers when we are thinking about 3D printing. And as Yoda say, there is no try. So what I really feel is we have to do with 3D printing. We have to make some inventions, some innovative parts. But to do something with 3D printing is really necessary to change the point of view. As you can see in this example, this image, you see a tree. Maybe this is in autumn without leaves. But just changing the point of view, you see that in reality, the tree is very impressive with its roof, with its leaf. So it's important to think and to have a look at everything that is surrounding us with a new perspective. And I'd like to tell you why we have introduced additive manufacturing into my company. The company was founded by my father almost 40 years ago, and we work in the hydraulic sector. You can see some of our conventional products, valve, manifolds, very square shapes, machining, conventional manufacturing. And a few years ago, we introduced additive manufacturing. So we were able to change completely the shape, make complex parts, and make also impossible parts, impossible shapes with the conventional manufacturing. Hydraulics is our sector. Hydraulics is a very old and conventional sector. I'd like to show you these photos from one of the main magazines in our hydraulic sector. This is Hydraulics Pneumatic magazine from US. And 3 years ago, they celebrated 70 years of the magazine. And they decided to publish some old advertisement from 1948. And in the opposite page, they published the today product. This is a cylinder, hydraulic cylinder. You can see exactly the same shape. Another example coming from the same magazine, pump, hydraulic pump, oil hydraulic pump from 70 years ago and today pump. Another example of what is the conventional manufacturing. So more productive, of course, but without any big change in shapes, any complexity. So again, we changed our mind when we introduced additive manufacturing in our company, and we started to think the problem with a new perspective. We feel that we were able to solve some problem and find good solutions that were not possible to find before or to find with conventional manufacturing. And so we start to design parts with this new mentality. Of course, it was not easy at the beginning because especially technical people are really linked or limited by the conventional design procedure or engineering. But we make some influence, we make some training. We also hired new people to introduce new skills and new perspective. And then one of the main benefits that we found in 3D printing is the possibility that from conventional machining of parts, conventional channels, just to tell you, in hydraulics, we have some channels and fluids inside, especially oil, that are working inside the manifold or the valves. So the conventional intersection angle of 90 degrees are made with machining. But thanks to 3D printing, we are now able to make round channel. And this is really amazing for hydraulic people, I can tell you. Making round channel give us a lot of benefit from the performance point of view. We also avoid the auxiliary channel that you can see in the first image on your left. We avoid the auxiliary caps and plug that sometimes can be a problem. They can make some leakage or can give some wrong performance in the hydraulics part. So this is the first benefit that we understood from 3D printing. And then from this idea, we started to design new parts. And we started to make innovative parts in hydraulics. It's a very conventional and conservative sector. I'd like to show you some of the examples. This is one of my favorites, lightweight hydraulic manifold. This is the conventional part. Was 3-4 years ago, one contact from US asked us to make lighter manifolds. This is made with aluminum ergal, and this works at a very high pressure, at 10,000 psi. It seems a very hard challenge, very impossible to make it with conventional manufacturing, but with additive manufacturing, we were able to reduce the weight of the manifold of 75%. So really impressive weight reduction. And of course, we make a better performance inside the channels, thanks to the fact that we were able to print curved channel that allowed less pressure drops and higher working phase. This is the hydraulic manifold installed in a portable power unit. In this case, the main target was to reduce the weight, but as of course, there are other benefits, other advantages to use 3D printing. So we decided to create our internal department in Hydro. We have all the procedure and all the phases from the powder management to the design to the 3D printer. We had chosen the technology laser power bed fusion, but we have also post-processing, testing, and all the activities that are linked to these beautiful technologies. We are based in the north part of Italy, not far from Lake Maggiore, in a very green area. You can see this is one of the very nice pictures. And we are surrounded by this beautiful nature. And thanks to the fact that we really live in a very green area, we are inspired by nature. And I'd like to show you this example. It's something that I really like, because from red pepper, we started to think with our engineers and technicians how to take benefit from nature. And we make this kind of joke, so we redesigned the pepper into an hydraulic manifolds. Of course, this is just an inspirational, but you know that nature can teach us a lot of things, especially in using 3D printing. Remaining in the natural environment, this is one of our hydraulic manifold. You see on the conventional manifold on your left, and the 3D printed manifold, smaller and lighter compared to the conventional parts. And this is used in agricultural machinery. For agricultural machinery, it's really important to have high performance manifolds, and also to avoid any possible leakage, oil leakage from the manifolds. So avoiding the use of auxiliary caps and plug, we guarantee that there is no leakage, so no potential contamination in the environment. And now another possible thing that we can make with 3D printing is make faster parts. Here is a good example. We make it with our partner Valland from Italy. You can see are some components for the oil and gas valve. In this case, we didn't make any redesign, so the conventional parts is exactly as the 3D printed part that you can see here. But what is really impressive is the short delivery time that we can achieve with 3D printing. And why this is important, especially for big plants or for the application where the time is essential. and where a stop of the production means a lot of money. So this idea is coming to the digital inventory. So to have fast parts with 3D printing means also that it's possible to keep a 3D printed file in the stock instead of physical parts. This is one of the new trends of additive manufacturing, and this is a good example. So from the inventory analysis, we defined with our partner which parts of the valve, of the oil valve, are interesting to be digitalized. Then we make the 3D printed file. So we transform the conventional file into a 3D printing file. Then we make the 3D printing, of course, with metal 3D printing. We had also all the testing, non-destructive testing and functional testing to prove that the 3D printed parts are working exactly as the conventional parts. And so they can be installed in the fields. This is very, very, very important. And I'm sure that we will see in the future more and more of digitalized 3D printed parts. But to do this, it's important to have good standards and guidelines, especially in the oil and gas sector. With my company, we worked a lot to help the end users to define a common procedure. And we worked in this big group managed by DNVGL, but we are also active in the API, so American Petroleum Standard working group, to the definition of the requirement for the qualification of the supply chain in additive manufacturing. And then we can make also sustainable parts with additive manufacturing. This is a very amazing possibilities that we can have with additive manufacturing. And again, another example from my sector, so from hydraulics, we made, this is the conventional manifolds, hydraulic manifolds made by casting and machining. And then we make this kind of exercise. We 3D printed the same manifolds with the same shape, but using 3D printing. So we had, of course, the benefit to have less delivery time, better inside the shapes, and so on. But what is really impressive is the redesigned and optimized manifolds. In this case, we combined 4 components into one, and we reduced the weight of 60%. That's good. But we also added a very nice calculation based on LCA, so life cycle assessment, made in collaboration with Equinor and with the Norwegian University, to verify the impact on CO2 emission of the 3 manifolds that you can see. So you have on your left the graph that shows how big is the reduction of CO2 emission when we use 3D printing instead of conventional manifolds. 80% of CO2 emission reduction. That's very impressive, I know. Maybe there are some assumptions behind this calculation, of course, but the message is clear. With 3D printing, we are able to reduce also the net carbon and the CO2 emission. And now I will show you some impossible shape, impossible for conventional manufacturing. You see there are different shapes, lattice structure, gyroids, complex shapes that are possible only with 3D printing, not with conventional manufacturing. And we use this shape especially for heat exchangers. You see here a very good example. On your left, the conventional heat exchanger made with conventional manufacturing, around 11 kilo of weight. And on your right, the compact heat exchangers made with 3D printing. A very high weight reduction of 85% and a very small size. Another example of heat exchanger, this is very nice. This is, again, lightweight, used for the electric battery of a Formula car. So electrification on car is coming, and also we need light solution for heat exchangers. And now I'd like to finish my presentation with something that is really impossible. Additive manufacturing and the new mentality and the ability to think to the problem in a different way give us the possibility to solve problem that seems impossible. This is servo flight. This is a flight control made with 3D printing that allowed a disabled pilot to take the first license to fly in Italy, in Europe, maybe in the world, because he has only one arm, so he had a bad accident a few years ago. And thanks to the open mentality that we have, thanks to 3D printing, we were able to allow his dream to become true. And now I will try to share my screen. Let's see if I'm able to share a video.
È un attimo. La vita può cambiare e le cose semplici a cui eravamo abituati possono diventare ostacoli insormontabili. Dopo 4 anni di terapia e sacrifici, ora ho ricominciato a credere nei sogni, a credere che forse qualsiasi cosa può essere possibile. Con la volontà. Non i soliti sogni. Un qualcosa forse che poteva sembrare irraggiungibile, un qualcosa quasi di irreale. Ma io ci ho creduto. Ho voluto credere nel sogno più inimmaginabile. Ho voluto credere a qualcosa che forse non era neanche tangibile. Volare, questo era il mio desiderio. Il mio entusiasmo è stato riacceso da un'idea che è diventata un progetto di ingegneria, grazie alle nuove tecnologie di stampa 3D. Con il processo additivo, dalla polvere metallica si è creato un oggetto innovativo, una soluzione personalizzata che ha permesso ai miei sogni di non avere più barriere. Attraverso un ausilio installato sulla strumentazione di bordo, un attuatore elettrico montato sull'asta comando gas, ora posso pilotare un aereo. Per me è stato possibile. Io ci ho voluto credere e il sogno è diventato realtà.
we have I would love to ask you a few of the questions that are coming through Q&A.
Yes, thank you very much, Melanie. I hope it was nice, and I invite everybody to think that with 3D printing sometimes it's possible to make impossible things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We'll ask the top question here, which is, how difficult was it to convince your company to give additive manufacturing a try?
It was a little bit difficult, but what helped me was the passion for 3D printing. So I'm really enthusiastic. So I start, to convince all my colleagues and all my technical engineers that it's really possible to do something new. And this is amazing. So we are working in a very conventional sector, as I said many times. So the possibility to do something new, it's incredible and give us a lot of passion and a lot of, say, also craziness to introduce this technology.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.